So, I'm going to taxi up, make a radio call, get permission from air traffic here. Not a huge control here, but they just gentle keep a tab and eye on us. Yep. Classic Wing 7, taxi 2 up 15 minutes.
Classic Wing 7, that's destination, hello, readability 5, taxi, holding point, Bravo, runway 24 left-hand circuit, QNH 100.
Taxi Bravo 241001, Classic Wing 7. Okay, you ready then, Tom?
Yeah, I'm ready. Yeah.
Okay, so this is the most difficult bit of flying this machine, is the bit on the ground, especially when the wind is fairly strong, which it is.
Yeah.
Because the aircraft wants to be pointing into wind, and at the moment we're taxiing with the wind behind us.
Ah, right.
There's no brakes on this aeroplane.
Nice.
So you have to judge speed, and also although I have got a little bit of steering through the feet, you can perhaps see those rudder bars moving there. It does move a little skid. It's only a skid, so it's not got real positive contact.
No.
And also with a little bit of wind from the propeller blowing over the tail, the rudder has some effect. And of course that is a little bit reduced by the fact that we've got a fairly brisk wind from behind at the moment, keeping the aircraft weaving it from side to side quite deliberately. First of all, it gives you a little bit of feel what the aircraft is doing, and it won't suddenly sort of try to turn the wrong way on us. And also, it's difficult to see ahead with this tail down situation. So by weaving from side to side, it's just making sure that the area I'm generally progressing towards is clear of other aircraft, because it would be embarrassing bumping into something else. Right, I'm just going to turn the aircraft into wind a bit. Just to come on around. And just do a power run up. Still running. So, trim's set, mixture's fully rich, both magnetos are on. Engine temperatures and pressure good, altimeter set, slats are locked, and the controls are full and free movement. I'm strapped in, you're strapped in?
Yep.
Okay, so
Classic Wings 1, Roger, report final.
I'm going to call for takeoff. It's going to get noisy. Airspeed indicator's the top left of the instrument panel there.
Sure.
If you add a 0 to it, that makes knots, so 40-60 knots, which is about the same as a mile an hour.
Okay.
It'll get noisy and windy, as I said. I'm just going to make a radio call. Classic Wing 7 ready for departure.
Classic Wing 7, takeoff at your discretion. The wind is 23012 knots.
Classic Wing 7, roger. Once I get the aircraft moving forward, I'll push the stick forward to get the tail off the ground to run along like sort of wheelbarrow on the main wheels. Once we get to about 50 miles an hour, the aircraft will naturally want to lift into the air. So you ready then, Tom?
Yeah, I'm ready.
So turning to the right to point the aircraft down this grass runway here. Pigeons will clear out the way, hopefully. Here we go, ready. Power's going on. Gets noisy, gets windy. Tail comes off. Running along on the main wheels. Speed's building up. There's about 40 miles an hour. And it will start to feel it wants to fly about here, so easing back. There we are. Nice and smoothly airborne. Not particularly fast. The odd little gust is gusting us around just a wee bit, but building up a little bit of speed, around about 70 miles an hour, so not flying particularly fast, 150 feet at the moment. And we'll just do a little bit of a turn out to the right here. Get a view of the Land Museum, and then we'll just turn back to the left, head off in the Royston direction. Here you can see from the that small chimney ahead of us there, but the wind is head on to us. At the moment we're doing about 60 knots, which is about 66 miles an hour. You can take 20 miles an hour off that due to the wind, so our speed over the ground is only about 40 miles an hour. Hence, if you look at these cars down here, probably a lot of them are going at least as fast as we are, maybe even faster. Of course, when we turn round and go in the opposite direction, with the wind behind us, we'll end up probably doing about 90 miles an hour over the ground. So the wind is significant in this aeroplane.
Oh, right.
The altimeter's there on the bottom left. The long needle is pointing at the 7, which is 700 feet. the short fat needle is pointing towards the 1, so it's heading, means we're between 1 and between 0 and 1,000 feet. So at the moment, let's just say 700-800 feet at the moment. Slightly confusing point because you've got to look at both. Flying the aeroplane, really, I'm not looking much at, not looking very much at the instruments at all. Really, it's all about looking out, firstly to see other aircraft, and secondly, it actually is the way to fly the aeroplane. See what attitude the aircraft's flying at. If we end up with a wing low, obviously there's bank and there's turn, you can see that left wing is low. Yeah. So to straighten it out, if the left wing is low, stick goes to the right. If I don't return the stick to the neutral position, it rolls all the way through to a bank on the right and we get a right turn. Yeah. At the moment there's no input, I'm not putting any stick position in, we've got a continuous turn. You only need it to enter and stop the turn, so to stop the turn, stick to the left opposite to the way the wing is down, then stick back in the middle, and that keeps us straight. And we can judge angle of bank just by looking through the top and bottom surface of the wing on both sides. And if the horizon, where the cloud, ground and sky meet, is roughly where those little discs are on the cross braces, that's about wings level. Climbing, or the vertical attitude, is looking out the front, difficult to see directly ahead, so you just have to imagine continuing that horizon line through round the nose, and in the climb it would mean that horizon is about level with probably the middle of the top instrument. Yeah. If the nose goes too high, you can hear the aircraft is slowing down, if nothing else. And if you look at the speed, it's reducing. We're climbing, but our climb would be slowing down. So to stop that, you squeeze forward. It really is just a squeeze. If I don't check the stick back into the neutral position, you can see the aircraft starts to go down. You can hear the speed build up. It gets quite noisy. Now we're 80 miles an hour, 85. It's really noisy. The aircraft gets quite twitchy. Controls more sensitive. So to get back, squeezing back, and once we're back at the correct attitude, stick goes back into the neutral position. So it's all about holding the correct attitude, maintaining the stick in the neutral position. In fact, what we'll look for now is the level attitude, and the level attitude is there, and you probably should be able to see that horizon line is probably just running through the bottom of the windscreen. The very bottom of the windscreen is about right. So again, if the wing's low, pick the wing up, opposite stick, back to the wing's level. If the attitude is off in pitch, if it's low, squeeze back until it's in the right position, all back to the neutral position, and let it hold there. Do you like to take control then, Tom?
I'll give it a go.
Okay, you have control. Okay. Nothing major happened. Most people say, oh gosh, it's sensitive. Well, it is, yes, but nothing major happens. Just get a feel for what it does. Just move the stick around.
Whoa. Wow. It is very sensitive.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah. Wow.
If you want to try a turn, just put a little bit of bank on, so say turn to the left now, so squeeze the stick to the left. Yeah. Once you've got enough bank to create a turn, perhaps a little bit more than that, the stick comes back in the neutral position. But all the time you need to be looking at where the nose position is relative to the horizon. Yeah. At the moment you've let the nose come down a little bit, you can hear the aircraft start to speed up. We start to go down a little bit. No major problem. But that's the slight downside. Flying, you've just got to be matching not only bank, but pitch attitude at the same time. Yeah. Nose is slightly high, you can hear the speed is reduced. Yeah. So if the nose is high, squeeze forward till it gets back to that level position where the horizon is just under the windscreen. And there you are. You have full control of the aeroplane. My hands are outside the cockpit doing absolutely nothing. You're flying it in a very nice turn. If you want to straighten out, so stick to the right. That's it. And remember, adjusting that pitch so the pitch doesn't raise up. There we are. Nose. Oh, that's nose slightly low now, so you're aiming for about there. So that's the position you're trying to hold all the time.
There's a lot to think about.
Oh yeah, it comes eventually with a bit of practice. Try a turn to the right now. It's all clear out that way. Fantastic. Let's keep that turn going just for a little bit longer. So quite manoeuvrable, reasonably quite manoeuvrable.
Yeah.
Straighten out there then. They are. Brilliant. That's nice because you're, oh, there you are. You're letting in the nose.
Oh, sorry.
You rolled out quite nicely and then just in the last minute you just squeeze back to the nose to climb.
Yeah.
Okay, have control for a second, Tom.
Okay, you're on control.
Would you be happy for me to show you a steeper turn?
Sure, yeah.
We'll go up to about 60 degrees angle of bank. We were about 25 earlier.
Okay.
Because of the increased bank, I need more lift, so I'll squeeze back on the stick, and this is where we'll feel some G, a little bit of pressure down into our seat. So there we are, rolling in a little bit more quickly because we're doing a higher bank. And
Wow.
keep that thing, there we go. Little bit of back pressure, which keeps the G on the aeroplane. And if you look down the length of the wing, you can see how tightly we're turning
very, very
inside, well inside that field. And you can see nicely well above us, round the horizon.
Wow.
That's fantastic, isn't it? It gives you that real feeling of flying. Adding a little bit of power because it tends to slow down because I'm demanding more out of the aeroplane.
Sure.
And rolling out, little bit bigger movement to stop that bigger bank. Would you like to have a go at that?
I don't know if I'd be able to do that.
Yeah, give it a go. Well, I can talk, I can take control if you need to or whatever. You have control then.
I have control. Okay.
So, put on some bank, go off to the left there, that's it, keep the nose level until we snow, and now a little bit of squeeze back on the stick to keep it going round. That's it, keep it, but squeeze back just a little bit more, and you'll feel that G coming on. That's very nice indeed, in fact, look, steep turn all by yourself.
Wow.
Keep it going, keep that pressure on. And now straighten the turn, but while you do that, you've got to make sure the nose doesn't rise up, because that's it, so you're relaxing on that pressure you had to hold the turn. Nose has ended up just a little high, so squeeze forward slightly. Oops, a bit too much.
Sorry.
That's right. Fantastic, I have control.
Okay.
That's good stuff. You have done this before, haven't you?
No,
You must have done.
No, I just, yeah, it's very controllable, really.
Oh, it
It's
is.
very simple, yeah.
Right, would you like me to show you a manoeuvre called a wing over, which adds climbing and turning at the same time?
Sure, yeah.
Okay, this will be a little bit more G.
Okay.
I'm just going to dive the aircraft down to get about 90 miles an hour. You can hear it's getting noisy. And then once we get to about 90, 95 miles an hour, I'll pitch the aircraft up, you'll feel some G, and once it's pointing upwards, I'll put some bank on. There's her pitching up and rolling and taking the power off. So 100 miles an hour to 90 to about 40 miles an hour, and a nice tight manoeuvre.
Nice.
You happy for me to do another one in the opposite direction?
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. Good clear above, pitching up. Slightly more gently because we're slightly lower. Keeping the power on because we're slightly lower as well. Pointing back down at the ground. And there we are.
Wow.
Okay. Great to say it's time to head back now, so would you like to take control?
Yeah, sure.
So you have control. A nice steep turn to the left then. Heading back in the opposite direction. And I'll talk you back towards the airfield. A little bit of back pressure so the aircraft doesn't descend. That's lovely. That is very, very nice. Now start to roll out now, straighten out now. Brilliant. Brilliant, brilliant. There we are, down at around about 500 feet, which is the lowest height we should be at this stage. The airfield is almost directly ahead of us, so that's coming in from a good position. Fuel is fine, instruments all set up, radio call I'm going to do in a minute, and altimeter's good. I'm just going to make a radio call, so if you continue to fly it like this, that's brilliant, Tom.
Sure.
Classic Wing 7 rejoining from the west to join downwind.
Wing 7 moves towards left-hand downwind, runway 240, 9 at 9 and 7, thank you, man.
99524, report down Classic Wing 7. So you can see the Duxford back off on our left-hand side there.
Yeah.
See the hangars there, you can probably see the concrete runway quite nicely. What we're going to do is join on a downwind position, which means we're going to parallel the runway in the opposite direction to the landing direction. And then once we go past, in fact in this case the motorway, which you might just start seeing the trucks on, I'll get you to do a reasonably gentle turn all the way round through 180 degrees, which should line us up with a grass runway, which is just the far side of the main tarmac runway. And while we're in that turn, we can get good sight of the runway, because of course once we straighten out in this, it's very difficult to see ahead.
Yeah.
So that's fine, you can perhaps turn just a little bit to the left. Can you see this line of trees immediately to the left?
Yeah.
The ideal position is to be directly over that. So mixture is fully rich, post magnetos are on, slaps they don't require, harness is tight, brakes are off, we don't have them. This is a downwind position, so I'm going to make a radio call here. Classic wing 7, downwind 24, right to left.
After wing 7, Roger, report turning final.
Classic wing 7, welcome. So there you are, you can see we're paralleling, going fairly fast over the ground because the wind is behind us. Of course, now what we want to do is turn into wind so we land at the slower speed. That's really nice stuff. All clear of other aircraft, 800 feet above the airfield, which reads me okay. So once we get to the motorway, I'm going to get you to do a gentle turn to the left to turn through 180 degrees, basically just to complete our turn before the time we get to the big display hangar.
Sure.
That's great. So start to turn to the left now. Okay. Slightly slow. That's it. Fantastic. Time to overfly. And I'm just going to start bringing the power back so you can allow the aircraft to gently go down. So allow the nose to naturally lower.
Cool.
That's fantastic. Keep that going. Just slightly reduce the turn now. So a little bit less bank. Classic wing 7, fine.
Wing 7 on your discretion, service wind 220 degrees, 111.
Classic wing 7, roger. So keep the turn going now.
Okay.
Let the nose naturally go down as I bring the power off, so slightly lower on the nose. Just squeeze forward on the stick slightly. That's it, and start to straighten out now. Let the nose stay down, lower the nose, push forward, push forward, push forward, push forward, push forward. Hold it there, that's fine. Holding the speed at, and now start to turn towards the runway, turn to the left. Okay, I have control.
Okay.
Slightly higher than normal. No flaps on this, so we can't get down all that easily, but I can actually use a little bit of side slip. Helps us see the runway, gives us a little bit more drag.
Oh, wow.
There you are, see ahead. And aiming, once we're over the numbers, I'm just going to raise the nose back into that position we were on the ground, and the aircraft should plop onto the ground. There we are, power's all off, holding it there. And just plops on.
Fantastic.
Nice, isn't it?
It's very good, yeah, it's very nice.